Good morning, good afternoon, or a good evening, depending on what time you are watching around the world. My name is DesFinance, and welcome to my brand new show, DesFinance Talks. Success leaves clues. This is a new podcast that aims to provide the audience with valuable insight into how to become successful. How do we obtain it? Well, what is success, I hear you ask? According to Earl Nightingale, success is defined as the progressive realization of a worthy goal. So I ask you, what is your worthy goal? Write it down. You see, guests will be from all walks of life, but the aim for each interview will focus on the journey of the guest and valuable information, knowledge, and nuggets that the audience can take away for their success journey. I only have 3 rules. 1, that you have a notepad, a pen, or something to take notes because you do not want to lose these gems. 2, if you hear something and it stings, it's meant for you. 3, and this is the most important, do not leave any of my podcasts without noting the actions that you are going to take. If you ask me what's been the one thing that's helped me along my journey, it's simply taking action. You see, I'm an action man. Just a tiny bit about me, so we're not strangers. 6 years ago, I was a secondary school teacher in East London. And as much as I love my job, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was broke, busted, and disgusted. Then an opportunity came my way and I took mass action. And the rest, as they say, is history. If you're serious about your success journey, whatever it may be, then make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell. In fact, do it right now. Take action. And now, on to our next guest. Action, let's go. Guys, I'm super excited to introduce the next guest. Someone who I've been admiring from afar for a very long time. Serial entrepreneur and Mayor of London candidate, Andreas Michli. Wow.
Making me blush.
Wow. Firstly, thank you for agreeing to come on the podcast. It's an absolute honor. You may not know that I've been admiring you from afar.
I didn't.
And I have to let the guests know so they kind of know the relationship and how I got to you. But you own Zone Gym.
That's right.
In North London. And the guests won't know this, but that's actually what made me and what started my whole kind of fitness journey. My coach, Rob, big shout to him. He took me to the gym and I did a good month there with all of these hench bodybuilders. And I knew straight away that I had to up my game, you know, so.
Big eye opener when they come there first, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's intimidating, but it's good.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you want to level up.
100.
But then when I heard that you were running for London Mayor, honestly, I just got so inspired, you know, because I'm sure what Mami's saying, you know, you're a local hero, you know, you've done well entrepreneurship, and then you've kind of made this decision to run for London Mayor. That's absolutely phenomenal. So before we go on, I want you to just, you know, briefly introduce yourself and maybe give us a little insight into your background.
I'm just a regular guy, man. I'm born and bred right here in London. I'm from Wood Green, North London. Yeah, I was raised in North London. I'm a father. I've got 2 children. I've got a 3rd one on the way now too.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Business is here, roots laid down here. And yeah, I'm an independent candidate for Mayor of London.
Wow. Yeah. So what made you even make that decision, right? Because you're a successful serial entrepreneur. I really want to get into that, right? Okay. Then you've made this decision. I want to know the kind of thought process behind it.
Yeah, you know what? It's just about it's life in general. You know, like it leads you down certain paths, and you know, you never know where it's going to take you. And that's where I got to. I guess over like the last 3 years, I've taught a lot of people a lot of lessons. It hit me in a certain way where I've been constantly attacked by the system and the regime, and you know, it's like now I'm at a point now where I just, you know, I want to stop being on the defense. And I've switched it up. I'm on the offense now. You know, I'm taking a few jabs back, and that's why I'm running, isn't it?
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. I have to say that when I look at the other candidates they come across as more of the same, right? I'm seeing suits, they're all saying the same thing. But then when I look at your campaign, it looks energized, it's different, you know. And when you walked in earlier, I called you the people's champ. And that's how I feel like you are.
Blush, that's it. I'm one of you lot, man. I'm one of the people in it. All of the rest of the candidates, they're just like this box stick man, you know, just been placed in there, right? Fill that spot, fill that spot. They're not one of us, innit?
As Cat Williams would say, an industry plant.
Yeah, exactly.
Phenomenal. Well, before we kick off, there's a format to my show where before each guest leaves, they leave us with a nugget. And a nugget is a pearl of wisdom, something that can really help our guests on their journey towards success. So I want to share with you what the last guest said to get your take on that particular nugget. Okay, so viewers, you may remember this nugget from Premium Bells, and he said this. He said, until the pain of change outweighs the pain of staying the same, then you will never change.
I fucking love that. Excuse my language. That's wicked. That's wicked. Who was he?
Premium Bells is actually one of my colleagues.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that resonate with you?
Of course it does, man. I love that. I love that. You know, you're never going to really do anything until you actually feel the need to do it. Like, and honestly, it's always going to be like either something major, like a trauma, or, you know, something kicking you in your life that, you know, something that's happened. Like, yeah, of course that resonates with me, man. Yeah.
Love that. So we're looking forward to your nugget at the end of this one.
Okay.
No pressure.
Okay. I got one for you. Innit?
So I guess what the viewers are going to want to know from the outset is why should they vote for you?
Why should they vote for me? Wow, I could just list them all day long, man. Yeah, like I said, I'm a regular guy. I'm a regular guy that just wants to genuinely wants to make a difference. You know, like the very best any of these other candidates can offer you, the very best they can offer you is just like a managed decline of our public services and our way of life, if anything, innit? Some of them are leading us down an even more insidious route, you know, like they're literally leading us towards modern day slavery. You know, like I'm an independent candidate as well. Like I'm doing this by myself, innit? Wow. I've got no ties to anything. I'm literally just me. That's it. I'm giving you myself, innit? The rest of them, you know, they're almost like football teams. You know, you got the Reds, the Blues. It's all the same thing. It's one uni party. You know, my biggest sort of like a hurdle I have to get over is trying to convince people not to vote for their subscribed football team sort of thing, because they're not even voting for like Sadiq Khan, or they're not voting for Susan Hall. They're just voting because they're subscribed to Labour. You know, they're part of the Labour subscription. Like, yeah, okay, let's vote for Labour. Like, but they're not. They're all offering the same thing. They might be offering something slightly different. You know, like Sadiq Khan saying, yeah, he wants to expand the boundary. You know, the ULEZ and this and that. Susan Hall saying she wants to bring the boundary back. But at the end of the day, it's all the same thing because they're all leading to one road. They're all leading to the same thing. A lot of people, they might not be aware, but they're all leading to something called Project Detroit.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Okay. We can talk about that a bit more if you want, but yeah, it's not a positive way. Not a positive road we're leading down there.
So they're looking at something that may have worked in Detroit and trying to bring it over here.
No, it's just the name Detroit. Yeah, it's called Project Detroit. So yeah, the whole infrastructure with like the LES, the ULEZ, congestion charge, it's all been put in place for this thing called Project Detroit. It's all a part of Agenda 2030. Sounds mad to listen to it right now, but I encourage people to go out there, read it, search it up. It's all out there in the public domain. It's just hiding in plain sight for everyone. But yeah, the infrastructure put in place is basically leading toward pay per mile system for everyone. So you have to pay per mile to drive your vehicle.
Wow.
That's where it's heading. That's where the ULEZ is heading, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so she might be saying, you know, Susan Hall saying she wants to bring the boundary back, but they're all leading in the same direction. Yeah. All the parties are leading in the same direction. I'm not.
So what direction are you going in?
I'm leading in the direction of what the people want, man. You know, all these things been done without like consultation. They've been imposed on us. You know, there wasn't any sort of due process, a democratic process. They've been just told, right, this is what we're doing in it, and they're using dodgy statistics to push it through, you know, like statistical constructs. I'm speaking for the people, man. People don't want this shit. People don't want to be charged to drive their car, charged to travel here. You know, like this is infringement on our rights to travel. Of course,
I tell you-
it's been getting a bit much for a long time, but this is what they do. They chip away, little chip away there, chip away there, chip away there, so you don't feel it.
Yes.
When they try to do something drastic, we feel it, and there's always a stand up against it, a protest or something. But the way they're doing it now is very intelligent. They're just chipping away at our freedoms, our rights, everything. Man. Yeah.
I tell you the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I'm normally quite a mild-mannered man, as most of you know, right? But when I heard this, I became incensed.
Yeah.
When I heard that they were gonna start charging to travel to South London.
Yeah, that's all part. So that's part of the Project Detroit as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the tunnels, they're gonna put tolls on the tunnels, basically. Yeah.
Otherwise, all my friends and colleagues and family in South London, it's been nice. It's been nice. Yeah, but I won't be. No, of course, I will be paying that fee. So what would you say?
Not under my watch,
Guys, those of you in East London that like traveling south, this is your man right here. What would you say are the top 3 issues for Londoners right now? I know I've got in my head like my number 1 issue, but what would you say the top 3 issues?
I would have to say is people like taking accountability for their own health. I think health has got to be the biggest issue here in London, and it's been heading that way for a long time. And people really need to concentrate on their self, they're improving their health and taking care of themselves, and then they can take care of their family and their children. Like the way things are going, it's becoming a secondary, third, or not even a priority at all. Like health has become a serious issue, man. In very close second place, I think is the policing and crime aspect, man. London's been allowed to fall so badly out of control into disrepair. It's just like there's so many elements to it that need fixing now. It's like almost like complete reform of the police. The Metropolitan Police is needed right now. Like knife crime is just so bad out of control right now, man. And none of the other candidates, no politicians want to address this right now. They're just dodging the question or throwing dodgy statistics like little man Khan does all the time. He tell you actually we've dealt with it. No, you ain't dealt with it. There's like why kids are dying on nearly a weekly basis right now from guns. Yeah.
Would you say they're out of touch a little bit?
Out of touch. You know what? Out of touch is. It's way beyond out of touch now, man. They've gone a complete different direction. They are out of touch 100%, but they're going in a completely different direction. They're only serving the interests of themselves and their group. Like these people in positions of power. I hate the word. My campaign manager, they call them elites in it, but I hate that word because they're not elite people. But they're only serving the interests of those around themselves. The special boys club. Yeah, they're not serving the interests of the people.
And that's what I think to myself. Isn't it about time we had a real person that understands the real issues of Londoners in charge, in power?
This is it. They're just making up issues that only serve their own interests at the moment, man.
So for me, if people are sick and tired of Labour, sick and tired of Conservatives, surely it's time for an independent candidate.
100%. But this is what I was trying to say to you at the beginning. They need to stop thinking about Labour, Conservatives, Lib Dem, Green, whatever you want to call it. Stop looking at the parties, the subscribed football teams or whatever you want to call them. Look at the person standing. Right now, there's only there's 13 candidates, but one of them's a joke parody thing in it. But there's 13 candidates. Look at the candidates. Go and look at the people. Read. I'm not even saying myself. I'm saying just go and read their manifestos. None of them even have a full set out pledge policy of manifestos at the moment. I'm the only one. I'm the only one. I've put all my cards on the table right now for people to just read it. This is what I'm offering. This is what I promise to give everyone right now. Yeah.
And I think that's what most people do. They will subscribe to a party that maybe their parents do. Right. So you kind of grow up, I'm probably guilty of this as well. My parents always voted Labour, so I kind of grew up thinking we're Labour people, right? Until you start to make your own informed decisions, until you start to read manifestos, which I definitely implore people to do. The amount of people that I speak to that vote in different elections and they've not read one manifesto, right? It's
because they're voting
crazy.
for the subscribed team. This is it. It's a big problem. Like I said, it's going to be one of my biggest hurdles trying to get people to stop voting for because there's no meaningful distinction between any of these parties. One's offering something slightly different to that, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, he's doing that," but they're all leading in the same direction, and it's not for the people. It's not for the people.
So one of my favorite sayings is that nothing changes if nothing changes, and I think it applies here as well, right?
100%.
Things need to change.
Things, you know what? Nothing in life is easy. Things are gonna be difficult, right? But you have to go through the pipelines. You have to do it, man. Like you said, if nothing changes, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking as a Londoner, as a proud Londoner,
Yeah.
you know, for me, it would fill me with joy to have someone like you at the helm, right? Making real change and making London great again, right? It used to be phenomenal.
It was so different when I was a kid, man. It's the way it is now. I don't recognize it, man. I don't recognize it. How old are you then?
Guess. I'm gonna let you guess.
It's difficult, man, because I can see you look good for your age. I'm gonna say you're 35.
You're my best friend. I'm gonna take 35 and run with it. I'm actually gonna be 43 later this month.
I knew you looked good for your age. I knew it. But yeah, right. When we was younger, it was a completely different place, isn't it?
How old are you yourself?
I'm 38.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. I have to doff my cap to you. You know, I'm inspired beyond words, but what I'm really inspired by is the fact that you're already a successful entrepreneur. So you don't have to do this, right? You can just chill, right? And just enjoy your wealth, right? Enjoy your health. But you're really putting yourself out there. And I just want to commend that. You know, you are a successful entrepreneur. Maybe tell us a bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, you know what? Before I start that, I agree with you. I have all the options in the world. You know, like I can just sit back and enjoy my life, my family, my children. But I feel like I don't have an option, man.
Wow.
I do have to do this, man. Someone has to do it, and it's like I wake up every day. I'm like, no one else is gonna do it. I have to do this, isn't it? So it's like I feel I've been forced to do this.
Wow.
You know, I don't have an option. I have to do this. You know, if I don't do this, who else is gonna do it? And then when my children are older and I'm an old frail man and I can't do this, who's gonna do it then? Maybe no one's gonna do it then. The world's gonna be completely different then. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, I feel like I do need to
Wow.
do this, yeah.
Is it a risk on your part?
Everything in life's a risk, right? But if you don't take those risks, you're never going to get anywhere.
Absolutely.
It's like one of the biggest things I'd say, like with success stories, you know, like entrepreneurship, is like you have to take that risk. If you don't take a risk, you'll never succeed, innit? Like if you speak to anyone successful, they'll tell you, yeah, I've been successful in my life, maybe a handful of times or whatever, you know, whatever. And then they'll tell you I've failed hundreds of times. And that's an integral part of success. You know, you have to fail to get to that success point.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting because obviously this show is all about success.
Yeah.
And is it a case of you've achieved a lot in entrepreneurship, business-wise, and do you kind of get to a point where you've achieved, not everything, but you've achieved a lot and you're like, what's next for me? Do you feel unfulfilled? You know, Abraham Maslow famously gave us the hierarchy of needs, and at the very top, we have self-actualization. You know, is this a part of your self-actualization? Like, you've kind of reached a certain point in your career, and that's how do I make real impact? You know, because there's a certain level of impact that you make as an entrepreneur, as I know, but then there's impact on a much larger scale, and it seems to me that that's where you're at right now.
I see where you're going with it, but I'm a much more simple person than that, man. Honestly, I'm so content in my life, man. There's nothing else I want, man. I have a beautiful family. We're all healthy. I'm healthy. You know, it's just literally as simple as that, man. I have everything I need. And like you said, I don't need to do this, potentially. You know, I could just enjoy my life. But it's just I feel like now I have to do this. You know, someone has to do this, and I'm going to do it, innit? Yeah.
Wow.
That was it, really, for me, one. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and some of your businesses.
You know what? I can't ever say things have been very much about sort of like business and money for me. I've just always steered in the direction of, I don't know what to even call it, like happiness, innit? You've got to always just do what you want in life, innit? Because money is never going to make you happy at heart or make you feel fulfilled or, you know,
Agreed.
Obviously these unicorns, I call them unicorn tokens. Unicorn tokens are going to buy you things, they're going to make life easier or whatever, but you're never going to get true happiness and fulfillment out of that, man. The things in life that make you happy are so much more basic and, you know, simple than that, man. So I've always tried to sort of follow the basic route, and it led me to, you know, like, it may not look like it, but, you know, like one of my biggest passions in life is bodybuilding. But yeah. So that, you know, my life led me down that route at one point, and, you know, I saw an opportunity. It was like a mate of mine's gym. You probably know him as well, Wayne. It's Robin's.
Yes.
Friend. Yeah.
Yes, I know very well.
There was an issue going on there, and then, you know, I took over the gym, and it was like, wow, man, this is amazing. You know, like, I've got my own gym now, man. It's like, I'm just happy to share my toys with everyone, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't charge a lot of money there, you know. It's quite, I'd say, quite a moderately low price gym. I'm happy if we just sort of like break even, sort of thing, you know. That's basically my business motto in life. Is I always try to enjoy myself, man. like with the gym, I you know, like I'll always improve it because I want to improve it. I want to make it better for people, or whatever.
So I imagine you went on this entrepreneurial journey. You've got the gym, and I can only imagine it was plain sailing, like no bumps in the road, all good.
No, nothing. Come on, man. You know when you said that, you was nothing in last plain sailing. Jesus, nah. There's always bumps in the road, man. If we bring it, I don't know, man. Only in the recent past, like look at like COVID, man. There's always going to be bumps in the road. Always going to be.
So how did you pivot during that time, right? Because that really affected gyms.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't, like I said, you know, I always do things it completely not from the business perspective. I looked at it like, right, I have a gym. It's a community. You know, we're all like a family-based community. Where, you know, a gym. It's a gym. It is a business, but we're a family-based community. And this is an attack on our community right now. They're telling everyone they're not allowed to come to their community and not use it. So that's the sort of view I took it from there, not from the business perspective, man.
So did it hinder your business at all? Did it really affect profits?
Yeah, I mean, of course it did. Yeah. You know, they you know, ordered the business to close. So obviously the revenue stops in it. But I mean, I didn't close, did I? I stayed open, and you know, I was getting attacked left, right, and centre. And yeah, I mean, it did hinder the business. Yeah.
Wow. So is there anything that you can say to our viewers who may be going through some adversity in their businesses to help them get through?
100%. Look what makes you happy in life. Like, you know, for me, it's super simple. Look, I have a gym. Gym is a big part of my life. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle, you know. So I'm happy with my gym. But most people, they've got a business. It's not their way of life or their happiness. They're doing it because, for one thing, they want that unicorn tokens to come through into the bank account like that. So look at what makes you happy. Is doing this making you happy? You got to ask yourself that. Do something that makes you happy, because at the end of the day, you know, like making money is just a means to an end.
So fascinating. When you think back to your early childhood experiences, is there anything that you would say has helped shape you to become the man you are now?
Childhood, yeah. I mean, I grew up in a single parent household, so it's difficult. My mum did an amazing job or whatever, you know, but it creates a lot more challenges in life, sort of, so to speak. And I feel like I came out of that on top in the end. Yeah.
Wow. So I share that experience. You know, single parent.
A lot of people do, man. Yeah.
So that is something that a lot of people have to deal with. Yeah. It shaped you, but how did you make it? How did you use that experience to help you get to where you are now?
You just realize that no one is ever going to do things for you, man. You're on your own. Like, it's a cold way of thinking, sad way of thinking, but if you ain't going to do it, no one's going to do it for you. You have to go out there and make it happen. And I guess I kind of took that away from my mum, sort of thing, innit? Because she was just by herself. She made it happen. She brought me and my sister up. So, yeah.
Wow. And are there any successes or triumphs that you're particularly proud of on your journey?
There's a few. I'd say there's a few. My biggest successes is my children. You know, like they honestly, they make me the happiest man in the world, innit? I'd say they're my biggest triumphs in life, so to speak, innit?
But in the bodybuilding,
yeah.
Did you compete?
I've never competed.
Okay,
No, yeah. I mean, competing and bodybuilding, I say they're two separate things, because bodybuilding doesn't have any sort of like finish line, whereas competing it does. You know, you got your show date and that's the finish line or whatever. Beating the regime, man. You know, like when I was getting attacked left, right, and centre by the government, by the councils, the police. You know, they're prosecuting me, and I won those court cases. So I say that was a success, and it kind of gave me sort of some self-fulfillment there. Yeah.
So you really kind of stood up to the system.
Yeah.
Wow. Was that scary?
Weren't scary at all, man. Honestly, like I said, like what I'm saying now, you know, like if no one else is going to do it, who's going to do it? Because I was the first sort of like person to really put myself out there like that and stand up against them. And I was the first business to get prosecuted, the first business to actually win a conviction against the government at the time. Wow. I really pressed their buttons, and it felt good doing it. Like, yeah.
So is that kind of characteristic something you're going to take into your role if successful? Like, you're really gonna, because I get a sense you're gonna fight for us.
Oh, 100%.
And you're not afraid
100%. Not
fight the good fight.
Not afraid of nothing. I'm not afraid to say nothing. Not afraid to do anything. Yeah.
This is the kind of guy we need, guys. So there'll be some of our viewers that may not know the whole story. So just tell us what happened during COVID and what was the outcome.
Yeah. Well, we all know, like, what was it, February, March or something like that, the government started getting nuts, putting it out there in the media, telling everyone they need to close their businesses, stay at home, don't go to see gran, eat crap food, you know, like the whole thing. So yeah, it started there. Ordered that I closed my business. I didn't close it at first because I had already knew something was wrong there. You know, it didn't seem right. Nothing was making sense. You know, there was attacking on my community, like I said before. So I stayed open. I didn't get a lot of support in lockdown number 1. A lot of people believed it, you know, so, you know, it wasn't really part of my story or the traction that people sort of like remember. But anyway, fast forward to lockdown number 2, that's when people did really sort of understand that this ain't right. And when I stayed open during that lockdown, it got all the support in the world. We had people travelling from all over the United Kingdom, left, right and centre, you know, from as far as Scotland and Cornwall coming to the gym. Yeah, it meant a lot to me.
Travelling to the gym?
Yeah, to come and train in the gym during the lockdown, yeah, because, I mean, every gym in the whole of UK was closed then, right? And, you know, there was no gyms open except me.
Of course.
Which is literally...
So you was the only gym open in the whole UK?
I mean, there was a couple of other gyms doing it as well, I think, on the download. Yeah, exactly. Like, but I was like, no, we're open. Yeah, you know, like, why they got no right to tell me to close, right? They're making shit up. But yeah, so I stayed open. People were coming from left, right, and centre. We had a queue going literally from out the door out into the car park.
I wish I'd known about these times. I would have joined in.
Yeah. I mean, it was all out there. It was a mad time. Yeah, but yeah, it got a lot of traction. Started getting attacked left, right, and centre. Police. Local council, central government, Scotland Yard started an operation on me. We had like anywhere between 10 police officers to like 40 police officers lined up outside, preventing people from getting into the gym. Yeah, it was a crazy time. Before you knew it, it was in the news, the media, really spiraled out of control. And I said all along, I'm not closing, man, and I didn't close. In the end, it got to the point where people weren't actually managing to get in because Scotland Yard started a operation where they had every borough of London circulating police officers just so they could man the gym the whole time, and they weren't allowing anyone to get in. So it got to the point where we're sitting in the gym, there's just no one in here now because no one could get in. So yeah, I kind of threw the towel in lockdown number 2. Lockdown number 3, same sort of shit happened again. They didn't let anyone in. And then fast forward to the court cases, they prosecuted me, took me to court, and I won all the court cases.
Wow.
For lockdown number 2.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks for fighting.
With costs awarded.
Wow.
So they had to pay me in the end. What a massive waste of police time though, man. You know, like when I think it was during like lockdown number 2, I had quite a little interesting conversation with, I think it was like a sergeant or a superintendent. He was like, yeah, so we're based in Haringey at the time. And at that time we had about 40 police officers lined up, and he goes, there's a robbery happening just around the corner. Wow. Someone's being robbed right now. And he goes, I've been ordered. I'm not allowed to move from here to the robbery. I have to stay here to stop people coming in the gym while someone's being robbed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what Sadiq Khan, Little Man Khan had the police doing at that time. What people don't realise as well, the Mayor of London is the top police officer. He is the commissioner. He is fully responsible for every police officer. Wow. He can direct the police to do what they want, whatever. This is what he had them doing at the time.
Unbelievable. People
are getting robbed and he's telling them to, instead of that, go to the gym. It's
unreal.
Man the gym. Yeah.
I want to know more about your mindset, because during this time, you're getting persecuted, you're in the press. What's your mindset like? Did you ever feel like just throwing in the towel?
You know what? It was... I'm not gonna lie, it was a really stressful time, man. I think I was getting about 1, 2, if that hours sleep a night, some on when it was like peak. But I just remember seeing people's faces. That gave me all I needed. You know, like I was just getting messages every day, and then when I was at the gym, everyone just being like, "Thank you, Andreas. Thank you," like smiles and everything. That's all I needed, man.
Yeah,
that was it.
Ultimately, you're just trying to keep people healthy.
Yeah, that's it.
And help people's mindsets by coming to the gym. And was that what it was? The fact that somebody could say thank you, is that what kept you? What was driving you during that time?
That was a massive part for me. I won't say it's the only part, but I'd say that was a massive part, the drive for me, man. Just seeing what I was doing for people. But another massive part was the government doesn't have the right to tell people what to do, man. They can't tell you you can't leave your house. Like, what is this, martial law or something?
So we didn't know this. We just we take everything at face value.
This is what a lot of people do, though. That's the thing, man. That's the state of affairs we're in these days, isn't it? Like, it's something switched along, like, sort of history, like, I say history, like recent times. You know, like, the government is supposed to uphold law and order and serve us. They are public servants. They are there to serve us, not the other way round. People think, oh, there's some sort of positions of authority. They're not. They're there to serve us. They don't have the right to tell me or you how to live our lives. You know, they don't have the right to come into our minds and interfere in our household, in our house life, our family life. No one has the right to do that.
You're firing me up. I just want to go out and take on the government.
That's what I mean. I spent the best part of my life trying to teach people to stick up for themselves, man, because that's what's going on. They're really, like, bullying us now. It's a full form of oppression. And people, where they're just chipping away at it little bit by bit by bit by bit, people aren't realizing this is oppression. This is the textbook of oppression, you know?
I feel like it's becoming very draconian.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's not meant to be like that. It's not meant to be like that. And the more we just allow these little, you know, these little chips to be chipped away at us, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And the more public acceptance of that, we're going to be in. This is modern day slavery evolving in front of our eyes.
Wow.
And it sounds mad to say it, but, you know, as we were taught in school, slavery was something different. You know? But this is a different version now.
Absolutely.
This is a different century now. This is a completely different version of slavery. Yeah.
Wow. Have you visualized yourself at town hall? Like, you're sitting in the chair. Like, do you do anything like that? Do you use visualization at all?
I can't say I have, but I can definitely visualize myself walking in there, like, on day one and just being like, right, we're changing things up, people.
Wow.
So new leadership.
So talk to me about belief. What's your belief system like? In your mind, is it done? Do you believe that this is going to happen?
Honestly, you know, like, that is something I would love to believe. You know, like, I've got all odds against me right now, and I really do truly believe I can do it. Yeah, I do believe I can do it. Amazing. But that isn't sort of the ultimate definition of winning for me. For me, the definition of winning is just putting these issues out there, putting them in the public domain, making the politicians listen. You know, like, if another candidate who wins decides, oh shit, you know, I'm going to nick one of his policies or whatever, that's winning right there, you know, because I've made it happen for the people anyway. In some ways, that is winning, you know.
Impact,
like, but obviously, City Hall is if I get in there, that would be massive.
And the workload, are you ready for the workload?
Yeah, man, 100%. I know it'd be a massive change to my life, you know, but yeah, I'm ready. At the end of the day, this is something I guess I do anyway, you know, like, service to my community. Like, that's kind of what I do every day anyway, with the gym, with everything. So yeah, it's just changing it up, widening the audience. You know, it's not just my gym of a couple of thousand members, it's a London of 10 million.
So it's day one on the job. Yeah. What's the first thing you're doing?
First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go in there, whip my top off, flex my biceps, you know. Yeah, no, real talk. Yeah, no, I'm going to get in there. A lot of things are going to get dropped on day one. A lot of things, you know, like, we're going to immediately drop, completely scrap net zero targets day one. We're going to look at completely reform the police. It's going to take a long time to fix that. It's not an overnight job.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah. So I want to know about your role models. Who do you look up to, or who have you looked up to over the years?
You got the obvious, you know, like, answers, like, I guess, that appeal to me, you know, people like Gandhi and Mandela or whatever, you know, they're very selfless people. But I'd say for me, it'd be more like, I won't name them or whatever. It's just sort of like, as a child, teenager growing up, the older guys and, you know, the things they'd say to me and sort of guide me along the way, you know. And then one of them, which is probably what I was going to say to you at the end, you know, the nugget. The nugget, yeah. One thing I live by, man, and he put this in my ear, and it's like, you have to be right to fight. You can't be wrong and strong. And he like put that, yeah, that's my...
Love that.
I live
We're going to say that one again at the end.
Yeah, I'll say it again, and I give you the energy with it as well. But yeah, I live by that, man. I live by that.
So I want the audience to learn from you in terms of your daily habits. What do you do on a daily basis that makes you who you are?
Daily basis. I guess I spend most of it just trying to dodge all the crap that's going on around us, man. You know, like it's just everything. You know, like you can't even open your tap to drink a glass of water or eat some food or something. Like, is that really food or whatever? You know, like putting food on my daughter's plate or my son or something. I've got to make sure there's no like, you know, carcinogenic materials in there and stuff like that. It may sound crazy, but yeah, I spend a lot of my time doing that daily habits. You know, I wake up, have steak and eggs for breakfast every day. That's my you know, my non-negotiable. Feed my children, head off to the gym, train.
What are your thoughts on manifestation?
It's very powerful, and honestly, anyone can achieve anything in life. Look, we're all humans here. We all have a beating heart and a brain. None of us are any different to each other. We're all, you know, like a lot of people, they look at someone and they want to think like, oh, I don't know, someone like Elon Musk. Oh man, I can never get to that. Of course you can. Of course you can. He's just a person, just like me and you, innit? You know, there's absolutely no reason why you can't be that person if that's what you want to be. You know?
Absolutely.
Me, honestly, I don't want to be that person. I'm such a simple person, man. I'm so content in my life. I have everything I need. So yeah, anything you want, you can achieve it in life. Yeah, manifest to it and go for it, man. And you'll have to take risks along the way, and it will be fucking difficult. There'll be a load of speed bumps in the road, but just keep going for it, and you'll get there in the end. There might be 1,000 failures, but you'll get that one success at the end. Yeah.
And take action.
That's
like
it.
yourself.
That's
You're an
Just
action
do it,
man.
man. Nothing's ever going to happen if you're sitting down on the sofa thinking about it.
Well, that's the thing. It's interesting you say that, because when a lot of people think about manifestation, they think that you just sit on a sofa and just be like, oh, you know, I want this or I want that. But no, it's the action. It's taking the actions, like putting your name forward and saying, I'm going to run, and whatever.
Actions will speak louder than 1,000 words or thoughts in your brain. Action is always the way forward, man.
Wow. I want to talk to you about two issues that are really, really close to my heart. The first I won't elaborate on, but that's the housing crisis in London. My background is I used to be a mortgage broker, helping people to buy houses. And I feel right now that that's a big issue, right? A lot of people have high rents. A lot of homeowners now have high mortgages, high interest rates and so forth. So that's one issue, but that's not the main one I wanted to focus on today. Before my finance journey, I was actually a school teacher. I worked in East London secondary schools for over 15 years. And now through my charity, Keep It Real, CIC, I'm really campaigning to change education in a big way. So for me, I believe that financial education is missing in schools. And I feel like too many people are leaving school without real financial literacy, right? They're getting in debt because they don't understand their credit report. They don't understand their pay slip. You know, they don't really know how to understand money as a whole, entrepreneurship, mindset, life skills. There are so many things that are just not featured in education. Education hasn't updated in over 100 years.
You're 100% right, man. All these things have just been completely missed out of the secondary school syllabus, man.
It's unbelievable. You know, we're still learning things like Pythagoras theorem. Let me ask you, have you used Pythagoras theorem in at all since leaving school? Right, we're still learning these things. Right? Well, I'd rather learn, right, good financial education that's really going to help me not to get in debt when I leave school. If I could understand APR, just that one thing alone, APR, right, would help so many people. But that being said, how can you impact education if and when you are in charge?
There's very little powers the Mayor of London have over the schooling system. He can have an influence. He can definitely campaign and put pressure on the government, which is something I would definitely do. There's a lot of issues with schools that I want to address. Nice. That's definitely something that I would think about as well. It's funny that I studied finance and accounting at uni.
Wow!
So it's a big topic for me as well. Yeah, like I said, there's not much the Mayor of London can do to impact sort of secondary, primary education.
Yeah. I mean, other than being a fantastic role model, right, for young people across London, I think that's really important. You know, there are a lot of people in London that will look to you and say, wow. In fact, I will touch on the housing issue, actually. Again, you know, it is a topic very close to my heart. I'm inundated, if I'm being honest. I'm inundated with people, clients, you know, previous clients, that are really at their wits' end. Either they're renting and rental prices now are through the roof, or they're homeowners with a mortgage and they're struggling. Right now, the middle classes are really, really struggling.
Yeah, I don't know what's more expensive, renting or paying a mortgage right now. It's gone mad out of control, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Is that within your jurisdiction? Is that within your remit?
Sadly not. No, the Mayor of London don't control the bank of interest rates. That is definitely central government, but the Mayor of London definitely can build more houses. That is something, help with the developments. The housing at the moment is, I think we've definitely a shortage of supply, massive demand, everyone's struggling. There's a lot of reasons for all of this. I'd definitely say we've got an immigration problem at the moment. We've got a lot of people coming into the country, and they're basically being serviced before the people that have been here waiting for a long time. That's definitely a big issue with the housing problem. Again, that's outside of the Mayor of London's control. Another issue with the housing, which I think is pretty important, is they're building them. Excuse the language. They're building this absolute shit, man. They look like prison cell blocks. They look like Lego to me, and they're not built to last. It's just the next generation of council estates. I remember when I was a kid in Tottenham. Well, it was born before my time, but Broadwater Farm. That was
notorious.
The notorious, right? Yeah, this was before my time. My dad lived in there when it was considered a nice place to live. It turned. I think it was 4 or 5 years after it was built. Again, before I was born, it just turned into the shithole of London. And that's what we're seeing over and over and over again with all these developments, these new builds. They're just being built and then knocked down, and then built and then knocked down. And it's just they're not lasting 5 minutes, man. The houses, they need to be built to last, man. And aesthetically pleasing as well, because when you walk into a council estate, you just feel, oh man, there's no sense of sort of being there, community, sense of pride.
Yes.
Whereas if you walk down a nice road that, say, you've lived on your whole life and everyone takes care of their own house or whatever, there's that sense there, you'll think twice about throwing a bit of litter on the floor or something. You know what I mean? Whereas when you're in these sort of shitty environments, it's just going to be a shitty environment all the time. It's no place to live. Would you want to raise your family there?
Well, it's interesting.
If you ain't got an option, you have to, right? But
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we know that there's a direct link between what you're describing, which essentially is deprivation, and crime.
Yeah.
There's a direct link. So if these things are improved, then it has a knock-on effect on crime, which has a knock-on effect on the NHS and all the other departments, policing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it's very important.
Yeah. So the Mayor of London is the head of planning.
Wow.
Yeah, so we can put planning restrictions so houses aren't built with these shit specifications. We can put conservation areas, and buildings have to be built to aesthetically pleasing.
Are there any books, movies, or even songs that have really kind of motivated you or inspired you on your journey that our listeners can tap into?
Books, I would say it's not a very well-known book. It's not a storybook or anything like that. I read it, I think the first time I read it was about 15, 20 years ago. It's not a big book. It's only got about 270 pages. It's called Freedom is More Than Just a 7-Letter Word by Veronica of the Chapman family.
Wow, guys, I hope you made a note of that. Maybe say it one more time.
Freedom is More Than Just a 7-Letter Word by Veronica of the Chapman family.
Wow.
And obviously the name, well, I won't say obviously, but the author of that book, I'd say is probably not her or his real name. It's a disguised name, because a lot of the information in that book is probably information that they don't want you to have. I'm saying they in it, but it's a very very deep book, and it opens your eyes to a lot of things about how the world works. You're after you've read that book for the first time, you're just going to be like, whoa.
Wow. I'm going to be on Amazon later.
Yeah, go for it. But I think there's a digital one. The paperback one's about a tenner or something like that or whatever. But yeah, the digital one's free. You can read it. Yeah.
The audio in the car.
Yeah. Honestly, that will open. I think you'll enjoy it as well. So there's some finance bits in there as well. A lot of talk about money and the history of it and all that. Yeah.
Or a movie or anything like that.
Oh gosh. I say my favourite movie is probably Gladiator. I think there's a number 2 coming out. So, yeah, Russell Crowe. I love it. It's fighting the good fight. Freedom. He's going for it, man. All odds against him. I love that type of shit. And what was the other?
Do you know what I love about it? I think it's that film where when he picks up the dirt and rubs it like that.
Yeah.
And it's like his little way of getting into the zone. It's like he's getting into the zone, ready for the fight. And I feel like I'm on stage a lot. I speak on stage, and I feel like that's something that we have to do sometimes, just switch
Bring
on.
yourself into the moment.
Yeah, I think everyone should find their own little kind of moment, own little thing.
Ground you, bring you back down to earth, man. You know, you get lost so easily in situations sometimes, and your head's you're not fully on the ground. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
just touch the ground.
Powerful. Are there any life lessons that you've learned along the way? Anything you want to share with us that's really kind of helped to shape you?
Life lessons, there's been so many, right? I'd say, you know what, growing up in a single parent household, man, just, you know, I guess everything's kind of against you, right? Growing up, and then coming out on top of that. That's probably something good. And then just everything along the way, innit? Just realizing that, you know, success isn't just success, it's failure. You have to learn from the failures to get where you want. Yeah. Failure's the biggest part of success, really isn't it? You're never gonna I mean, it's possible, but you're never gonna go for something and succeed straight away. I say that is so rare, man. You're gonna go for something and you're gonna fail, and then you're gonna go for it again, you're gonna fail again, and that might happen 100 times, but you get there in the end. So yeah,
Edison had a 1,000 mistakes, made 1,000 mistakes on his way to creating a light bulb.
Yeah. That's it right there. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I often say, make adversity or mistakes, make it your best friend, make it your teacher.
That's it, man.
Right.
The failures are so much more important than the success. Because once you've succeeded, it's like, you kind of ruined the journey then, right? Innit? The journey's over, innit?
Right.
Enjoy the journey, man. Enjoy the failures.
That's even a nugget right there.
Yeah.
To enjoy the journey, because a lot of people are so focused on the outcome.
They want to get there. They just want to get there straight away. Like they want a magic potion or a pill. Like, bam, I got there. I see it in bodybuilding all the time, man. It's just like, you know, people see this picture of this bodybuilder. I just want to be like him. Yeah. Do you know what he done to get like that? Yeah. He trained for 20 years, every day waking up at this time, eating 15 eggs, then going to the gym and training. They don't see the work, man. Enjoy that journey. Enjoy that ride, man. Because that's life, innit? Yeah. You've only got one life. Don't just want to get to the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
And even what you said about the single parent family, someone else can be in that scenario and have a completely different outcome, whether it's being in jail, whether it's falling into, you know, drugs or whatever it may be, but essentially wrong path. But here you are running for Mayor of London, right?
Don't always take responsibility, man. Don't blame shit around you, man.
Wow.
You can't blame other people. You can't, like, you know, I'm literally in tears sometimes. I see some shit. My missus from Mozambique, and you know, she'll show me like this. They've got everything against them in the world. They don't even have food to eat. They don't have clothes on their back. They don't have nothing, and they still manage to make something of themselves. They didn't blame their surroundings or their environment. Do you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
What an interview. Absolutely phenomenal. You know, why don't you give us some closing words? You know, you're running you're just before your nugget, you're running for Mayor of London. You know, we've got a lot of viewers listening right now. I want you to just really appeal to them as to why, when they walk into that booth, they're putting a cross next to Andreas.
I want to make London strong. That's it. You know, we're in a place now where London's not strong. We're weak, we're sick, tired, depressed, defeated. No one's happy anymore. It's easy. You just see it. You know, you walk down the road. I bet you never had someone smile at you. You know, like you might have to wait a week before you get a smile back or something. Like, I want to change all of that, man. I want to make London strong. I want to make people happy. I want to empower people to take control of their health, empower people to do it for themselves. I don't want to nanny anyone, man. People want to do things for themselves. They want to achieve something and accomplish them themselves. That's what I want to do for people.
Love that.
Yeah.
Can I just ask one favor?
Yeah, man.
If subscription comes in, and we're forced to fight at work, can we make the age limit like 41? Right? Can I?
You know what? That is
what are your
the
thoughts on
funniest, stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. I don't want to offend people, but they've created a civilization of lazy people right now, and now they want to tell people they've got to go fight in a war.
I was joking, by the way. I'll happily fight. No problem. Yeah. I'm ready.
Like, I honestly don't think, honestly, you might get a few people popping up here and there, but they've literally created people, like, people don't even want to go to the shop and buy anything anymore. You just click a button on your phone, Deliveroo, like, You're going to get, we all are, right? We all are, right? But now they want to tell people they got to get up and go fight in Russia.
But there's a problem though. There's not enough people that have signed up to the army. there is a real lack of numbers, right? So how?
But why would you want to? Like, that's you know, I'm all for, you know, like, you know, supporting your country, but right now the country's not being led correctly. So you're fighting an old man who's fat, hairy, sitting in a room, who's just wants to make benefits for himself, and you're gonna go out there and put your life on the line for him. You're not doing it for your country. Honestly,
Now you
if we had a leader who had morals, who had you know, like, who really meant something and cared about us, who he'd come out there and fight with us, I'd go stand behind him all day long. Nothing but admiration and respect for a man like that. But we don't have people leading us like that. So don't follow a leader that is just using you.
Are there any politicians around the world that you look up to?
There is one. He's sadly passed away now. Yeah, but I'd say it's just one. So he's passed away. He passed away a couple of years ago. He was the president of Zanzibar.
Oh, I went to Zanzibar.
I love Zanzibar. It's amazing.
Beautiful
2 weeks ago.
No, so 2 years ago.
Yeah, I went there. When was it? Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
2022. I was there. Yeah,
that's when I
took my
was there,
daughter
yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Yeah, I only went there literally
Tanzania.
because of him. I didn't even know it bloody existed until before then.
Was he the president of Tanzania or just Zanzibar?
No, it's Zanzibar, because
It's
they've
a
got
separate
two.
thing.
Yeah, they've got two separate presidents, but also the president of Tanzania, he was similar sort of mind frame as him. But yeah, so it was during COVID. So he basically, you know, when they had all the PCR tests and this and that, he was like, right, I'm going to check these PCR tests work. And what he didn't tell anyone is that he used the tests on a papaya and a can of Coke and I think a chicken or something like that. And they all came back positive. And he was like, this just shows they're full of shit. And it shows, he goes, we're not going to be doing any of that now.
Yes, I remember this now.
That we're open to the
I
world.
remember
We're
that.
not following
Yeah,
any
yes,
COVID.
he
He
opened
goes,
to the world.
he's
Yes.
just
Yes,
basic,
yes.
plain common sense,
Yes.
and didn't oppress his people. I've got nothing but respect for a man like that. He stood up against the worldwide regime.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but sadly,
It's a conspiracy, right? How he died. Bit of a
this is what I'm
conspiracy.
saying. So it wasn't only him that died. Him and 6 other members of his party
Yes.
passed away in a
remember.
period of something like 3 weeks. So,
It was a big talking point when I
yeah,
was there.
yeah. And then the person that replaced him was more or less a puppet, completely the opposite direction.
crazy.
Yeah. So
It's a lady, right?
yeah, it was a lady.
Yeah. So when I was there on business. We were doing a
Lovely business.
blockchain.
trip.
Yeah, it was a blockchain convention. And I was talking on stage, but what I remember was walking around Tanzania, the capital, and seeing people from London.
And
Like I was in Ainapa.
because they knew they could
They knew they
travel
could
there.
do
It's
it. I'm like,
open.
what are you doing here? Oh yeah, no, it's open. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
And they've just stayed, right?
Yeah,
They just stayed there. So that was
I know a girl, yeah, she was from Brixton. She just moved out there. She's still there now.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
2 kids there. She's just, you know what, beautiful place to live. I don't blame her, man.
amazing.
Whereabouts did you stay in Zanzibar?
Dar es Salaam?
Okay, so that's, oh no, that's in Tanzania. That's mainland, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, in Zanzibar. Sorry, Zanzibar, it was one of the resorts. It was a really nice resort. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was a
My favourite
beautiful,
parts is
beautiful.
Nungwi and Kendwa. That is like my favourite place in the world, honestly, man. Zanzibar's got my heart.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Really beautiful
For
place.
lots of reasons, yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Well, we've reached that time to get your nugget. So please do, give us your nugget.
You have to be right to fight. You can't be wrong and strong. Come on.
Let's go. I would
Yes.
flex my biceps, but next to his, maybe not as powerful. Absolutely phenomenal. I thoroughly enjoyed this interview. Thank you so much for coming on, and I wish you the absolute best in the campaign. Guys, you've heard it here now. We've got a real guy willing to fight. That's the first time I've really heard someone who's willing to fight for the capital. And I'm super excited about the journey. And I'm super excited about him taking the keys to the town hall. Let's go.